Imagine waking up every single morning to a different view. No alarm clock, no traffic, no stress. Just the sound of the ocean outside your window, soft light coming through the curtains, and the slow, gentle rocking of the sea beneath you. That is not a vacation. That is my life. And today, I want to tell you exactly why I made the decision to leave my apartment behind and move onto a cruise ship permanently. I know how that sounds. Trust me, I know. When I first told people, they looked at me like I had completely lost my mind. My mom called me 3 times in one day. My friends thought I was joking, but here I am a year and a half later, and I have never once looked back. So let me take you into my world, because I think once you see it, you might start questioning a few things about your own. My mornings start around 7, and they start beautifully. I open my balcony door, and the first thing that hits me is that ocean air, that clean, salty, wide open air that you just cannot replicate anywhere on land. I stand there for a few minutes, coffee in hand, watching the water move, and I think to myself, this is real. This is actually my life right now. Then I head up to grab breakfast, and the food on these ships is genuinely incredible. Fresh pastries, made-to-order eggs, good coffee, fruit that actually tastes like fruit, every single morning. While most people back home are sitting in gridlock on the highway, I am eating a warm croissant and watching flying fish jump out of the water beside the ship. I am not exaggerating. That actually happens. And people always ask me, okay, but what do you do all day? Don't you get bored just floating around on a ship? And every single time I laugh, because bored is genuinely the last thing I ever am. Some days I take a fitness class, spend a few hours working from one of the lounges, grab lunch on the deck, and then the ship pulls into port, and suddenly I am walking the streets of a city I have never been to before. Some days I do not leave the ship at all. I find a quiet corner, I read, I watch the horizon. I exist fully and completely without pressure. There is something so powerful about having that kind of freedom over your own time. And the ports. I cannot even begin to describe what it does to you after a while. Every few days, I wake up somewhere completely new. Last week, it was Cozumel. The week before that, Nassau. Coming up, Bermuda. These are not just places I have seen in travel magazines anymore. I have walked those streets. I have eaten that food. I have sat in those little cafes and talked to the people who actually live there. The world stops feeling like a screen and starts feeling like a place you actually belong in. Now, I want to be completely honest with you, because I think that is the only way this is worth watching. This lifestyle has its challenges. It genuinely does. The Wi-Fi out at sea can be frustrating, especially when you work remotely like I do. You learn to plan around it fast. Port days become your most productive days because you have solid signal again. You download what you need in advance, you build in extra time, and eventually it just becomes part of the rhythm. Space is another thing people wonder about. My cabin is beautiful and thoughtfully designed, but it is not a sprawling apartment. You simplify. You figure out what you actually need to be comfortable and happy, and you let go of everything else. And honestly, that process has been one of the most freeing things I have ever experienced. I did not realize how much stuff I was holding on to just out of habit. And then people ask about loneliness. They assume that living on a ship must be isolating, and I want to set the record straight on that one completely. I have never felt more socially rich in my entire life. On a ship, you are constantly surrounded by people from different countries, different backgrounds, different stories. You share meals with strangers who become friends by the end of the night. You explore ports together. You watch sunsets with people whose names you did not even know a week ago. It is one of the warmest, most genuinely connected environments I have ever been in. So why do I choose to live on a cruise ship? Because I spent years feeling like I was just going through the motions. Wake up, work, come home, sleep, repeat. And there was always this quiet voice somewhere inside me saying, there has to be more than this. I just didn't know where to find it. Turns out it was out here, on the water, moving slowly through the world, waking up to something beautiful every morning, eating well, meeting people, seeing places, and actually feeling alive inside my own life. And here is something that surprises almost everyone when I tell them: the cost. When you sit down and honestly honestly add up rent, utilities, groceries, a gym membership, streaming services, eating out on weekends, all of it, living on a cruise ship is a lot more financially competitive than most people expect. For some people, depending on where they live, it actually costs less. I know that sounds impossible, but the numbers are real. I am not here to tell you that this life is for everyone. It is not. But if you have ever felt that pull, that restlessness, that feeling that the life you are living is smaller than the one you were meant to have, I just want you to know that there are options out here that most people never even consider. This channel exists because I believe travel should feel real, not just aspirational. I want to show you what cruise life actually looks like, not just the glossy highlights, but the honest, full picture. If that is something you want to see more of, subscribe to Cruise Navigator and come along for the ride. Drop a comment below and tell me, would you ever consider living on a cruise ship full time? I read every single one, and I genuinely love hearing from you. The ocean is patient. It will be here when you are ready.